All right, this is the brute force approach. It pretty much does not work in the US unless you have an automated system that can run hundreds, if not thousands, of address number combinations per minute to find that one needle in a haystack that will trigger that call text verification. Keep in mind that most of these are under a lot of scrutiny. If you're lucky and able to do it, it's very hard to keep those listings live for a multitude of reasons I'm not going to get into. But one of them, again, is because they're pretty much in the U.S. They're screening any phone verified listing that is pushed up front, not like the other verification hack where you become a trusted listing. Okay, so the things you're going to need: phone verified account. LoopNet, we're going to do Toronto. Now, if you're doing something like, say, in the UK or Australia, just simply Google office space Perth. Okay. And just Google it, and you're going to see. And a site like for AU, for Australia, realcommercial.com.au will have a lot of office space for lease. And you can do the same method as, search the address, see if anybody's using it. Same method as before. This one doesn't look like somebody is, and let's see. All right, some people are, it looks like that, but they have different suite numbers like 9B, etc. Here they don't really show the actual suite numbers available, so just make one up or use just the main address. So same thing with anywhere, with UK, Singapore, New Zealand, wherever else, it's the same method. But we're going to do an example in Toronto. And I will say this method works best in large cities. It's pretty easy to get that call text option. The smaller the population of the city, the more difficult, the more combinations or phone numbers you have to run to unlock that call text option. So that being said, let's go ahead and search an office space in Toronto. I'm not, just because we're doing an example here, I'm not going to scrutinize the address. We've already gone through that. So let's say we're doing a tree service again. This building looks okay. Suite 201's available, so I'm going to do my quick search. All right, let's take a look at the map listing itself. And we have some companies there with a bunch of different suite numbers, so it might be a little bit harder to, or more difficult to trigger that call option if there's so many businesses there using this method. So go back again, hopefully you can quickly find something that is not occupied, and here I'll just try a retail space, just something that hopefully is easy to do. First floor, search Google. Somebody's there. All right, let's go back again. Maybe we're just going to use a large office building. Those tend to work just fine. Here, for example's sake, we've already gone through the address selection process. There's all these different suite numbers available. On these large offices, usually they don't show all the businesses there. And again, go through the process that we did before. All right, this is North York, Toronto. That's just a neighborhood or an area within Toronto. So we're going to look at what suite numbers are available. We have 800, 904, 903B, etc. Typically, I like to pick suite numbers that don't exist so that if a business does occupy it, you're not going to get mail sent to them in your GMB listing name. But for this example's sake, let's just go with it. So we're just going to add something like, I don't know. I don't know, 805, just to keep things rolling here. So 805, hit search. It doesn't really matter at this point. Let's see what 800 gives us. Another street view, and let's see, 810. All right, fair enough. We're not going to care so much about the street view. All right, so then what we're going to do is there's a CSV upload sheet right here, okay? Google doesn't let you download this anymore because it's been abused beyond belief. So anyway, we're going to do the bulk upload thing. And so if we're going to take our business name, we're going to call it Stands, I don't know. Hello. Stands Tree Company. Okay. And then address line 1, this is just going to be the street address. Oops. So we'll take this here, 938 Hay Street. All right, so that's address line 1. Now, address line 2 would be like a unit number. Address line 3 we never use. Address line 4 we never use. And by the way, I'll get you a template of this in your training folder, because again, you can't, GMB doesn't offer the option anymore to download this. So administrative area is going to be the state or province in this case. And so that's, or excuse me, let's go back to locality. Locality just means city. So I believe the city here, again, wrong screen, is, we call it Toronto. This is called wrong one. North York, or we'll probably put Toronto in. Let's see if that works. So Toronto. Now, once we have that in there, administrative area is, again, like the province. Now, for some countries, you have to enter that in. For countries like the UK, you don't. Australia, you do. So you'll figure it out as you go through. You'll get an error if it doesn't work. So this is going to be Ontario. And country region is going to be Canada. Alrighty. Postcode or postal code, as it's known outside of the US, is going to be, let's see, they don't have it here, so let's go back to here, M2J5C2. All right, so I'm going to throw that in there. We don't have to worry about latitude and longitude. Let's see, primary category is going to be tree service. You might need to look this up. Different countries have different types of categories. They're not always the same. So tree service. Additional category we always ignore. Website's going to be whatever you want, that whatever website you're using. Primary category, oh, I'm sorry, let me cut and paste that there. That's for phone. Primary category is going to be tree service. And we can put hours of operation if you want. Otherwise, you can fill that out after it's verified. We're just going to do 8 a.m.-8 p.m. and I'm just going to copy that, and we're good for 5 rows. So let's take this here down to Saturday, right there actually. All right, so we have that all in there. Let's make sure this is row 6. So we have our store codes over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just going to take all this information here, copy it, shift, paste. Okay. So now we have all of our addresses and company name. Now sometimes these keyword-based company names don't trigger as easily, so sometimes you might want to use something branded like John's Enterprises, you know, LTD or something like that. I advise to try to use the information that you want the end listing or the end result to be, because Google My Business doesn't like a lot of switching anymore. So that what I'd mentioned in the other video about running name, address, phone number combos, it's, you know, kind of rough. In this case, we're just going to use the same address. The only variable here is we're going to use different phone numbers. So we have our primary phone and additional phone. So this is what I do. All right, so with Twilio, you want to change it to Canada. So whichever service you use, you want to change it to whatever that country is. It's kind of self-explanatory. And let me just check. Toronto, I believe Toronto's area code is 416. So let's see if we have 416 in there. So 416 area code. Looks like nothing's there. What else do we have here? Maybe we try, what area code is 647? I believe that is, yeah, we'll use 647. So that should be there. So let me try that. And it is. Okay, so here's a couple of notes here. Even if you're outside the US, you can use US local numbers, you can use US toll-free numbers, or you can use any Canadian number whatsoever, because you're trying to get a match. Okay, so in this example, we'll just use the 647 area code. Something that Google My Business, it's kind of a loophole, that they like those vanity numbers or numbers with repeaters. Okay, it just seems to trigger the call text verification option faster. So in this case, I'm going to use asterisk. So 1, 2, 3 for the prefix, then 1, another asterisk, 0, 0, 0. Let's see if something comes up there. All right, so nothing there. We'll try 100 numbers, so we'll just do that. So we have that in there. I have a bunch of numbers that end in 00. So what I'm going to do now is grab something right here. Let's see. Desktop. We're looking for numbers. There they are. Okay, so you'll have another spreadsheet as well. This one is just, it's just a blank CSV. So I'm going to go ahead, get rid of these numbers. Okay, I'm just going to make it a little bit larger so you can see. And so I'm just going to grab, again, there's an automated way to do this. I'm just, this is the manual way to do it. You can figure out which way you want to do it if you're outside of the US. So we're just going to go ahead and grab all these. Good old-fashioned copy and paste. And that's fine. That's great. All right, so then we're going to go, oops. And let's see. Let's use another number here. Let's see if we can do something like 123 asterisk 1 2. Oop. We'll do 0 0 0 asterisk. And all I'm doing is sorting numbers. Okay, so there's nothing there. Maybe I'll do 666 asterisk. Okay, so now we have numbers with these repeaters again, and they're repeating digits, repeating numbers. All right, so we'll go ahead and put that in there. And let's do a couple more. Toronto's pretty easy to trigger in. So when I mean trigger, I mean to get that match to the call verification. So let's do 1 2 3 4. See if anything's there. No triplets. So we'll just go ahead and see something that ends in 4 4. Apparently I did not do that. There we go. 1 2 3 4 5 4 4. All right. You should probably have something there. Apparently not. So see my digits, 1 2 3 dot dot 4 4. That should work. So again, the asterisks are just placeholders for the number. So I'm going to grab this, and I don't think we're going to need many more numbers because it's a large city. So I'm just going to go ahead, put this in my CSV, go up in the corner, right click, sort A to Z, and then I'm going to take this column here, click on data, remove duplicates because I don't want to remove duplicates, continue with the same selection, column A. I have 28 unique values remaining, so apparently there was a lot of duplicate content in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select 5 numbers because now the bulk uploader will only let you upload 5 locations at a time. And that's assuming you even have the sheet. So I'll put this in primary. Now, just to backtrack really quickly, if you're just running numbers and you're going to use one of these numbers, then it doesn't matter. You can put numbers in both fields because you can trigger that call text option with the primary number or the secondary or additional number. Now, if you already have a phone number for whatever reason that you've got that you want to use, but you want to trigger with other numbers, you just put those in the additional phones and keep this number the same. But obviously, there's a different numbers, so again, try to use this that whatever number triggers, you're just going to use that number. It's much safer. All right, so let's go back here. We'll go to 6 to 10. This is our first batch of 10 numbers. It's 5 uploads, 5 listing uploads, and let's make sure that tree service goes all the way down here. So every row represents 1 listing submission, okay? So now that we have that all set, we have our business name, we have a store code, 12345, you need that. Business name, address, city, administrative area, which is province outside of the US. Canada is the country. Postcode is right there. We have primary phone numbers. We have additional phone numbers. If you were to have a website, you'd throw it in here and then copy and paste it down the column. This is your category. And you don't have to do this, but just to make less changes after you verify, these are our hours of op from Sunday through Saturday. It's 7 days a week. Okay, so obviously after that, you're going to want to save it. Now, when you log into, again, there we go. So once you log into GMB using a phone verified account, also known as a Gmail PVA, you're going to want to just take all this URL stuff out of here and type in locations. All right, so now you have locations. This is your bulk uploader. All right, so we've already saved our CSV. We're going to click, drop down, import locations. And it'll say select file. Sometimes there's a CAPTCHA, so just solve it. It's very easy to do. Select file, and now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select this template, which I've been using called GMB template. So wherever you save that CSV sheet, just go ahead and upload it. It's going to say import locations. Right now it's checking file, checking file. All right, in a second it'll go to preview changes. We'll click that, and it says 5 errors. So apparently I did something wrong. You know what it is? It's probably this city. But if you get errors, you just click on download as CSV. Okay, and give it a second here, then click on download. Once it downloads, we'll just save it to it's going automatically to my downloads folder. I'll click on here. All right, and then it's going to come up here in a second, and I'll make this bigger so you can see this. Errors, this address could not be found, verify the address, blah, blah, blah. That's probably because I used Toronto instead of North York, which is my fault. So I'm just going to change this to North York. But it will tell you, for the most part, what the error is. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy, change that. I have the right postcode, and let's try this again. So click preview changes. I have errors, hit OK, and then I can go ahead and import the locations again. By the way, you can do this through single submissions as well. It would just take longer. And if you have bots or automation, you can kind of do this as well. But honestly, this is probably the easier way. All right, so again, it's doing its thing, checking file. Preview changes, 5 errors. All right, something's wrong here. Let me pause it and figure out what the address issue is. Okay, the issue was I wasn't paying attention, and so I was using the wrong address. So we'll just click on the map listing. We'll do 225. That's this address instead of what I had on there, which was this address here. So we're just going to go ahead and copy paste that, and the postcode should be, again, wrong tab, right here. Okay, I think that's the one I already had on there. Pretty sure it is. Yes, it is. So I'm just going to take this, copy it, paste it there, and now we should be good to go. So correct city, North York. I probably could put Toronto, but I don't want to waste your time. So now we're going to go ahead and add location again. All right, select file. Selected my file. Let it do its thing. Click preview changes, and there you go. You have 5 new listings uploaded, no updates, no errors, etc. Click apply. Get rid of some of these extra stuff here. All right, so we're back here. It's ready to go, and then all you do is you can only do 5 locations at a time. You used to be able to do like 100 or even more. And so you just sit here and right click. So let me get rid of, again, all this other stuff here. It's just wasting our space. All right, we don't need that anymore. You just right click. That's all you do, clicking away. And you're looking for a call trigger screen. So let's choose away. We have mail, mail. There you go, okay? That's what you're looking for right here. Let's see if we had any others. Nope, just that one. So this is the number 649 or 647-493-3500. Again, I picked an easy city just to show you what it looks like. So now what I'm going to do, again, wrong screen. Let me pull up Twilio, and then I'm just going to search that number, which again is right here. I'm going to have to buy the number. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. I'm set to Canada. Throw it in there, hit search. Of course it's there because I just copied and pasted it. And now what I'm going to do is I use something called the webhook in Twilio. Whatever call service you're using, you have your call forwarding feature. Again, for sorting numbers the way I showed you, with repeaters or repeating digits, I like to use Twilio. It's probably the best platform to do that. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and find my Twilio. It's called a webhook. All right, and this just forwards. This is just a URL that forwards to my phone. All right, so let's go back in here. I'm going to buy the number, and then I'm going to go ahead and set up the number. And if you're using Twilio, you want to go right here. A call comes in, webhook, or however your other service does it. Hit save. So I have my call forwarding set up. I'm going to see now which listing actually triggered. I want to delete these other listings. So if I go back to manage locations, this looks to be the third location, but as we clicked it, it was the third here. They don't have the store codes and sequential numbers. I don't know why. So let's just click here, and I want to make sure that I have that number in there, and there it is. It's a secondary or the additional phone number that triggered, not the primary number. So now I know that it is store code number 5. So I'm going to get rid of all this, keep that screen there, that tab there, go back in, go to click on my business. So I have everything here. I'm going to get rid of everything but listing store code number 5. So I'm going to go ahead and hit actions, remove locations. I just don't like verifying with multiple locations in there. It can cause issues, and I'll just leave it at that. So we'll just refresh until it goes to nothing except for one location. All right, so now we have one location. I'm going to click review changes, get rid of that, and now I'm ready to verify. Now, this is what you would do if you were having to change things. Okay, so if for some reason you verified, you triggered the call option with a different name, you would do that here. If you used a different address than your target address, you would change that, but you're going to do that right before you verify. So for now, we're just going to assume this is the address you're going to use. If you're going to add a service area or clear your address, do not do that now. If you're going to use a different phone number, you could actually get rid of that, put that new phone number in there now. If there was a website, you could put that in now. Again, hours of operation, all of our listing information is there. I'm not going to go over category switching and stuff like that, because honestly, if you do it, you're probably just going to get the listing suspended these days. So we have all the numbers that we want. What I'm going to do is maybe I can just get rid of this number and leave this here, but again, that kind of could cause a problem, but why don't we just do that instead? Or actually, you know what? No, I'm just going to leave it straight up. That's a cleaner way to do it. If you weren't using any of these numbers, you could just clear these out and put a new number in there. If you wanted to switch the number that triggered, which is this number here, 493-3500, you could just go in there and delete this and leave this and cut and paste this as the primary. But just for example's sake, the less changes you make to the listing, the more stable and less likely that listing is going to go into like basically permanent review or suspend right after verification. So also, if the category is not eligible for phone verification, but sometimes it still triggers this phone call text option, then it will suspend right after verification. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to make any changes here. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and hit call. Of course, the number is being forwarded to my cell. All right, and so here comes the call.
Remember, you should not share this code with anyone else, and no one from Google will ever ask.
Like anybody cares about the code.
Your code is 9893228. Again.
Okay, so I have my 6-digit code. I'm going to go ahead and click verify. Pretty easy stuff. Get started. I'll get rid of this other tab. Yeah, this is where they want you to start, great, you're verified. Let's go ahead and get AdWords going, and I don't care. So then I'm going to go to the info tab. Well, normally, okay, so it's already, usually the whole listing is under review, but as you can see here, not the listing as a whole, but just these sections, it says under review. This is kind of a newer graphic or interface, so that's fine. So the phone numbers are under review, the hours of op are under review, the address is under review, category, name. Since we didn't make any changes, it should be fine, but they've already said my business is live on Google. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up the listing. That's the listing right now. Decent street view. Of course, we picked a large building. Everything's there. If we had a website, the website would be in there as well. But let's say I want to, what if I just want to put a service area and get rid of the address? Let's do that. But what we have to do is we have to wait until these under review things on each section go away. So really all I'm going to do is just refresh the screen. Still under review. This sometimes can take a couple minutes, maybe it takes 10 minutes, it just depends on the platform. And so right now it's still under review. Let's look at the knowledge panel. It's right there. So everything looks good, except obviously this number, say we didn't want to use this 5100, say we just ran random numbers and we want to use the one that triggered, or if we want to put something else in there, we would have made that change right before we verified. But in this case, I'm just going to assume we can buy both numbers, or I just want to use this number. So I know I'm speaking quickly because this method is not necessarily the greatest method, but it'll work. So again, I need all these to come out of review. All right, so this is what a truly live listing looks like. And so let's just say I want to make a couple changes, okay? Say I want to get rid of the 5100 because I'm only planning on using the 3500 number that I actually verified with. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add another phone number. I'm going to take the 5100 number, throw it down there, take my 3500 or number ending in 3500, let's just cut that actually, put it in primary, get rid of this. So now I've switched them. I found that switching them versus just deleting the other number right away avoids a suspension. So I'm going to hit apply. And of course, now that section's under review because I made a change. All right. And so, I'll refresh the screen. A lot of times I like to wait for phone number sections to come out of review before I make any other changes on the listing, like adding a service area and then clearing out the address. So, we'll just kind of wait. Still, okay, so now it went live. The next edit I'm going to make is I'm going to get rid of this number that ends in 5100 because really all I want is this number. Now, if you're fine with leaving the secondary number in there, even if you didn't buy it, you just don't want to change things too much, that's fine too. A lot of people that deliver to clients, they've changed this number right before we hit verify. So anyway, I'm assuming in this case you're just going to use the number that you bought. That's probably the safest thing to do. And so again, it goes under review because I got rid of the secondary number. Again, if you don't have to do that, but this is just showing you how you can change things up a little bit and try to do it without it being suspended. So again, this is still under review. Phone number changes and switches tend to stay under review a little bit longer than, say, if you're going to change the hours of operation. Luckily, this went live pretty quickly. And so now say I want to hide the address, okay, because I couldn't do that before verifying. It won't work that way. You'll get suspended. So I guess I'm just going to do North York as my service area. And you have to do this first. You have to do this. You should do this prior to clearing the address. So I'm just going to toggle back and forth here, just kind of like I did before. And this might take a little bit longer. It seems address changes or service area ads just take a little bit longer, kind of like the phone stuff as well. So now this came out. The next thing I'm going to do is clear out the address. Now, if you clear out the address, please take note of it. You already have it on your sheet. So wherever you store your GMB information, make sure that you have it. Now, little trick here. Say for some reason, I'll just clear this out and show you what happens if you want to retrieve it. So I have to. Okay, I wanted to show you one last thing. I actually forgot about this. Say you did not record your address, okay? And you just don't know what's going on. I did share this before in the proximity training, but just to remind you, if you're in the info page, right click, hit view page source, okay, and you have to scroll way down here. I'm looking at the numbers on my left. Eventually the numbers will go away and then they'll come back again. All right, so I believe it's like in the 600s or so. It will have your address in there. So let's slow down. And if you look at this, let's see. All right, that's not quite there yet. Let's see, latitude, longitude. Let's see, keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Should see it real quick here. Let me go back. Right here. Okay, so this is the information right here. 225 Shepherd Avenue East, or E for East. That's your address, and that's it's on row 581. And so this is another question I get a lot as well. My address is hidden. How does Google know? Well, Google knows because it's right here. It's what you submitted. It's right here in the source code. So that's how you know. That's how they know. It's not like they forgot about it. All we're doing is just hiding it from the public. Okay, so then the other funny thing, if I can find it, is line 619 will show you the number that the GMB or the call text verification was triggered, and the number used, more importantly, to verify and get the PIN code. So those are some fun things to know. This down here is the email used, and that's about it. Those are the important things. So if you ever lose your address, scroll up here, you'll find it lines 581. You'll see right there. So you can never lose it. It's always there. Google knows it. Scroll down here. I'm going to hit clear address, and that's what it looks like. It just takes the street address right off the listing. And of course, now the whole thing's going to go under review because the service area is kind of tied to the address. So we'll just go ahead and refresh it. Maybe see if our map listing's updated yet. Most of the time there's going to be a lag between what's going on in the GMB dashboard and what's going on in maps because it's propagating. But as I scroll out, you can see now, normally when it's all done, you won't have to scroll out, but that's my service area, okay, because I defined it as North York, again, a kind of suburb or neighborhood within Toronto. I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh again, and today things are running nice and smooth. It doesn't always work like this, so we're good to go on there. I'm going to click on maps again, see if it's updated in maps. Great, pretty quick, and eventually that service area overlay will show up again. So I have the number I want. I have my address cleared. Stan's Tree Company, tree service, we're good to go. I've made the changes I want, and that's it. So again, smaller cities, you're going to have to run more numbers. Larger cities, like you saw, are pretty easy. Making changes to the name or category at this point I could do, but I run a chance of getting suspended. So, and not that I really care because I'm probably not going to use this listing. If you want to use this listing, let me know. That's fine. I could care less. You could probably put your phone number on there, but that's the final product. So I kind of went through this quickly because it works now. It'll probably work for a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if all this and the bulk uploading stuff did not work. And, I don't know when. It could be 2 weeks from now, could be a year from now, could be a month. I'm not, Google my business, so I don't know. But anyway, once you have all this set up, if you wanted to do the GMB website builder, let's just do that. So, because we didn't put a website in there, you click on website. I think you probably already know this. It'll create its own generic looking website, and just click, tell my story, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to publish it. Okay, Stan's Tree Company. Hey, I want to buy a domain. No, I don't. Okay, so I'm just going to use that URL. I don't know why a tree service has a picture of an office desk, but whatever. You can change that. There's my service area. And of course, if I go, actually go back to the editor, I'll show you what happens here. So I'm just going to click off all this stuff. Promote your site, pay per click. That's why they're doing this, man. That's why they're in it. So get ad dollars, describe your business, add more photos, share your site. If you go up here for posts, I'm pretty sure all of us, already know that you can make promotions and posts on your site and all that great. All those other things are, filling out your description, all that stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Where are we here? So that's about it. As far as we're concerned, we're looking at the verification end of it. As you can see, it's not in review, it's live. That's what you want to see. Okay, you want to see these two links. It's live, and you want to make sure that nothing's under review, which it isn't. And that's how you use the brute force approach in pretty much any country outside of the US. There are exceptions, and if you're going outside of Canada or some other places and you have some confusion, let me know, and we can go from there. Thanks. Take care. See you in the next video.